Hello, Rob here from the Flanagan Homestead. Today's project is simple in concept, but maybe not in execution. So you can see I'm standing on a road here that's cut through the woods. We have a steep hillside on either side. This is an old logging road from before I bought the property. There's my excavator right there. I can, being really careful, get a pickup through here, but quite easily I can get my quad through here. But what I'm trying to accomplish is 300 feet up that way, not elevation, but 300 feet measuring tape, 400 feet maybe, is my trout pond that I have, I think still a couple hundred fingerlings in there. Well, fingerlings from last year that I think they're about 10 or 12 inches long now, and I want to be able to access them when I open my campground, hopefully later this summer, and use them to stock the few small ponds that I have down here. But I'm going to build some fish traps and everything, but there's no access to my pond anymore. And so if I was to try to fish trap these fish, I'd have to put them in a cooler and carry them up a hill, a big old thick cooler, and I'd never make it. Or I could make it, but it'd take quite a while and the fish would probably die. So I am going to take my excavator, go to the far edge of my property, build a trail that my quad can drive on, side hill across to get to the pond up here, and then when I build my fish trap, the fish will come in, put them in a cooler, drive back down to the other pond, quickly get them there and not have to try to carry them. Let's go give her a try. Okay, my excavator is just about to the end of my property. We're going to turn back this way and come back up the hill. Some of the hardest and steepest part is going to be this very first part because they cut out the old logging road years ago, so it's pretty steep. So we're going to have to jump back, get back up on top of this. I don't think you can see it here, but there's some orange flags that I put on the trees and generally where I'm aiming to try to go across. So the process, I've built a lot of trails on the side hill on my campground property. I made some mistakes when I first bought the excavator. You know, I'm cutting out the high side and stacking up soil over here to get it level, but this soil is soft and then it didn't slide away, but it gets lower, and then I do a lot of side tracking, and I lost my tracks a couple times on the excavator on the side hill. So if you're cutting out on the side hill, you want to cut down deep enough that not only the high side track but the low side track is on native soil, and then you can go ahead and build up a shoulder outside of that with fill, and you could even carefully pack that down with either your track or your bucket. But you want both tracks to be on native soil as you cut off this side hill. And I'm not building a road for a truck, I'm building a road for a quad. So if I just get my excavator up there, my 35G up there with the tracks, can't get a truck up there, but All right, it didn't take long to have our first big challenge. I'm just starting to rough this in on this steep part. You know, I said be on native soil. I was gonna have to pound it a little bit, but the old road's not too far away. So I wasn't too scared, but then there's not enough. I thought I was gonna be able to go below this big alder that's right there, but there's not enough soil over here and it's starting to get higher. So I'm gonna I need to go right through the middle of that big alder. So I'm gonna try to get myself a sturdy spot to dig it out and see if I can't push it away from me and down the hill so that I can go right through where the root wad is on this. There's a double trunk here, so it'll be an extra large root ball. And as it goes up, we've got some old dead branches on this that could potentially come down towards me. It's one of those times you're glad to have the canopy on your excavator, but we'll also be careful as we get up there and keep some distance away and hopefully loosen this up and give it a slow push the other direction. So I just cut out 11 minutes of footage where I was just pawing at the roots, didn't go anywhere. Here you can see that this tree is now starting to lean ever so slightly. I don't even notice it. And one more cut and it accelerates. Here we go, timber! All right, it's getting dark out here. The lights of the excavator are where the brightness is coming from. Gonna head home. Come up bright and early tomorrow morning. The tree is out of the way and hopefully I can start making ground fairly well tomorrow. Got up early the next morning to get some work done. Get a couple hours work done here before I have to go down into town. Spend most of the morning and early afternoon in town, but here's a visual of the log that we knocked out as just before nightfall last night. Here's what the started roughed in road looks like from down on the existing logging road. It won't be as steep. The side hill cut will be steep, but the elevation gain won't be as steep as I go that way. All right, sitting here on the excavator, you can see right on the other side of the bucket is my stronger fence line. I had 2 fence lines here. This is what keeps the goats in the pasture. In the distance there, you could see trees that are planted in rows 10 feet apart by 10 feet. I'm going to be able to get up in here and just drive right down there. Should be no problem. These trees are like this because nearly 30 years ago, not quite that long ago, but I planted Christmas trees 5 feet apart and then harvested all of those, and then I knew I was going to let it go into timber eventually, so I planted Doug firs every 10 feet with noble firs in between, and I harvested out the noble firs for Christmas trees and then let the Doug firs go, and these are going to be timber here. So let's cut out this fence and get this up there. So as I'm going to take down the fence, this is what happens when you have a tree growing and you think, oh, I'll just tie the fence to the tree and I'll remember to cut that string off every couple years and reattach it looser so the tree can grow. And you can see down here, the tree was growing up and it's girdled, and then it has greater thickness up here. Obviously I'm going to cut this off now, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get the twine out. Oh, it's coming out most of the way. And this tree should, because it's not so far gone, be able to grow healthy again. Fortunately, we had a seam in the fence fairly close to where the trail's going to be. So I'm going to, instead of having to cut a hole through the fence, I'm just going to disconnect the 2 sections, take out a fence post, and we should be able to move this fence up out of the way without doing a whole lot of damage. And if we want to replace it, that shouldn't be too hard. Okay, this is across the canyon from my place, but there's the old irrigation system still here. I haven't used it in a couple years. It's still functional. I don't want to mess it up. There's a goat barn for when I come and put them over here to graze and beat down the brush, but I don't have a whole lot of space between the irrigation and the fence. I'll have to probably move a little bit of the fencing, since I'm going to be taking out this gate here anyway, and then we got an open run to the pond. So there's the road we built with the excavator so we can get the quad up here to the pond. Now that we're here, let's throw some feed in and see how the fish are doing. Well, we did it. We accomplished the goal of getting our quad trail built so I could drive the quad to the pond. I'm here on my quad right now, so now I can start building my fish trap, catch some, trap some trout, and take them to some of the other ponds. And it was a little bit rough in some of those spots, rougher than it should have been. I'm probably actually going to go back and smooth that out a little bit before I go home. But we accomplished the goal. I'm going to try to keep track of time on some of the projects we do, because when I watch other people, well, how long did it take you? So between the 2 hours last night, the 2 hours this morning before I had to go to work, so we're at 4 and 3 more hours. I'm about 7 hours into this right now, and we're done, and the trail goes on beyond there as well. But anyway, thanks for joining me on the Flanagan Homestead, where Christmas trees are my business, teaching and cleaning horticulture is my job, and outdoor projects like these trails and trout ponds and everything else are my passion. Be blessed. Hope to see you again soon.